What's up, everybody? Man, it's Cousin Leon checking in again, man. I did a little video this morning. I got out there to where I'm on the way back to San Jose now, though. So I already put a day in, got some bread. But this morning when I got to work, right? Well, when I got to the job site that I was working at, I did a little video because some stuff dawned on me, man. Earlier this morning when I was on the way out there to the gig, Antoine, I saw Anton Daniels speaking on one of his videos. Again, shout out to Anton. But his video was talking about Democrats and how they crashing out. And he was tripping on a cat that, you know what I'm saying, I'm rather fond of. You know what I'm saying? He was tripping on his comedian Ricky Smiley. And I don't know, man, it's crazy. I mean, I see perspectives from both sides, but yeah, he was calling Ricky a crash out for being, I think he called him a Democrat shield and some other stuff. You know, he accused Ricky of taking payments from the Democrats to persuade people to vote Democrat. And I don't know, you know what I'm saying, neither here nor there. I don't know who took payments. All I know is, you know, Ricky been a Democrat forever. I mean, a lot of people voted Democrat and have voted Democrat, you know, for a long time. So some people changed over. At any rate, after this last election, man, what I've realized was, man, it's a lot of people out here that depend on the government to take care of them, the government to fund how they live or to fund their lifestyles. Or they depend on the government to make changes in their lives. These everyday people depend on the government to make changes in their lives. These are also people that never set goals for themselves. Or if they set goals for themselves, they're always falling short. There's always something that gets between them and their goals. I mean, their personal goals. But I guess it can be argued that a lot of people's personal goal was or is to put themselves in a position for the government to fund their lives. I don't know, man. But I'm just tripping. One thing I learned as an adult, I learned this years ago. I determine where I go in this life. My decisions, my actions, my disciplines. Everyone does. Everyone determines where they go in life or where they are in life. I mean, the government, like I said earlier this morning, the government makes laws, they legislate, then they take tax money from us, and they use it to build stuff, or they're supposed to. I mean, yes, it can be argued that a lot of government officials have skimmed off the top, taking money, using it for their own personal gain. That's been presented before. I remember having a debate with a guy. It was one of my, matter of fact, it was one of my HVAC instructors when I was going through my training. This was around the first time that Trump got in office. And he was a major Trump supporter. And I was a major Obama supporter, you know. So we had all kinds of debates, man. All kind of back and forth type disagreements. I mean, over the years we remained friends though, but I started kind of seeing his side of stuff. And the funny thing to that is, or the funny thing about that is, man, hey, Chad started seeing my side too. He started seeing my way of thinking, started understanding what I was saying. And we said that to each other over the years. But there are some people, man, that it drives me crazy. Well, it makes me laugh. It doesn't drive me crazy. Other people's actions no longer drive me crazy. I had to really get off of having a heart for the other people. I had to get off of feeling and thinking for other people. Well, why don't they do this? And, well, if they did this would happen. Well, maybe they could try this. Well, maybe this. I had to get past all that. And I guess what helped me get past all that was the fact that nobody ever thought about helping me. I had to come to the realization that if I didn't do it, if I didn't set my own goals, if I didn't reach for my own plateaus, I'd never get them. I'd never get anywhere. I mean, I went through a time in life, man, I needed food stamps, but they wouldn't give them to me. I guess because I was an able-bodied man that couldn't, you know, but I couldn't find work. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't get on my horse. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't get on my feet and just do stuff. I couldn't earn a man's wage. I had to look deep within. I mean, and I had college education in my past. I had a degree in administration. It was paralegaling and that type of thing. But man, there's no room in the paralegal world for men. So I had a useless degree. I worked a couple of temporary paralegal jobs through a temp agency. I remember that back then. And they were short-lived, but that's kind of where I started. And the money was on the floor compared to what I earn now. It was crazy, man. Life was something. But I never, once I got slapped in the face at the food stamp office trying to get help from them, rent assistant people. I don't even know if that's what you call them. But I couldn't get rent assistance. I couldn't get anything. I was a single man, a non-custodial father. I had to pay child support. So, you know, that stuff, child support kept me crawling because I was barely making money anyway. So I remember that time in my life. And I still set goals for myself. I still kept plugging away, and trying to make things happen for myself. Because I realized early, man, that, and when I say early, I mean after I got to be drinking age. And I was the legal age of the majority. So I was no longer a minor. I was the age of the majority. And every time I get a paycheck, or every time I got a paycheck, the government was right there taking taxes from me. The only place that I could see where that benefited me was it put money into my SSI, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I go on Social Security Administration website, and after all that, I mean, I paid in all my credits by this age, after years of working. So I'll get the max amount of Social Security if it's still around. And surely it will be when I'm ready for it. But I had to really pick myself up, man. And yeah, when I say that, I had to have some help doing stuff. And this came, to be honest with you, it was the Obama administration. My help came from the Obama administration with some of the policies that they had put forth, you know, that administration put in place. It was the WIA program, the Workforce Initiative Act program. And I got involved with that, qualified for it. One of the first and the only government program that I was able to qualify for. But even that was just 99 weeks. Let me think, was it that, or? I think it was 99 weeks, yeah. I mean, the program itself only lasted that long. Oh, man. But what I did was I had to learn something to put me in a position to earn money. So that's where I took my training for heating and cooling. But after I finished the training, man, it was over. There was no job assistance. There was no, job placement assistance. None of that stuff. It's like, hey, man, you got some skills. Good luck to you. You know, and that was that. I was thankful for it. But I mean, since then, man, I've been paying taxes like you would not believe. But that comes from earning the kind of money in the profession I chose. That comes from setting goals and sticking to them, not letting nothing deter me from the goals. And it's funny, man, because I had child support payments I had to make and all that kind of stuff. I was sweating that heavy because child support people didn't care. They was threatening to lock me up. And I was studying for a new trade. Studying, you know what I'm saying? Trying to build my knowledge base, get my skills built up. So I was still fighting them, trying to get them off my back. They didn't care that I was training for something new. I went to child support court one time, and I had an exam coming up at the trade school. I'm in child support court, sitting out there in the audience, waiting on them to call my name up. And I knew I'd be there for hours because it was a crowded courthouse. I'm in there studying books in the courtroom, studying for my exams, for real. Trying to get that stuff out of the way. Nothing was gonna deter me from my goals. I had to shut everything out. I had to cut out all the noise. And that's another thing too. In life, you get two things. You get signals and you get noise. The problem with a lot of people is they don't know how to determine the signals from the noise. The signals that you get in life usually tell you to go this way and do this, or this will be a better option for you. This is really what you should be doing. Okay, some people hear the signals because they know that they should have taken a left turn when they went right. Some people listen to the noise, get distracted. They want to laugh. They want to have fun. They want to play games and ignore the signals while they're listening to the noise. When you set goals for yourself and you're trying to build your life, you cannot listen to the noise. It might take cutting a lot of people off, getting away from a lot of people, getting them out of your program, getting them out of your circle. It might take you just, you can do that by quietly just disappearing, or you can do that forcefully by telling them, hey man, get lost. You know what I'm saying? I can't be wasting no more time around here with y'all. This is what I'm trying to do. I got goals. I'm dead serious, man. And a lot of people that is dependent on the government for everything that they have, or dependent on the government to make their lives sweeter, they have no goals. They cannot possibly have goals. And that's a large part of the problem. It's crazy because, again, I say, yep, I utilized a government program. It didn't give me no food stamps, though. It just covered trade school for me to go in and learn a new trade. I was fired from a job that I had, and it wasn't my fault. I can tell you the whole story about that. Well, I can tell you the story in a nutshell. I got this job making steel reels. I had to learn how to weld, right? So I was welding on an assembly line doing steel reels. I got the job through a temp service. And I told the temp service people everything. Yep, I got a felony. I got it like 20 years ago. At the time, it was like 20 years ago. And I only had one felony in my life, but yep, it's 20 years old. And this and that, this, whatever. I told them the whole deal about the felony. So the temp service got me the job. Gave me the job. I went into this factory. And I learned how to weld, how to MIG weld. And I was doing that for a year. And this was crazy. After I got in through the temp agency said, well, they're going to hire people on permanent within 6 months. And I thought, man, thank you. This is perfect. I've been having such a hard time finding work, finding jobs, finding decent wages. And compared to what I'm making now, those wages were garbage. But then it was everything that I had. It was all I could get. So I was willing to do everything to get that job, to get on permanent. Well, I don't know, a couple of months after I started working, the company had a hiring freeze. So that meant they weren't hiring anybody until the freeze was over. They had a hiring freeze. That freeze went on for a year. And then the summer after, the following year, that summer, they lifted the freeze, right? And this was in a small town back down south too. And so they, at a morning meeting, they said, hey, we have 5 openings. to put people on permanent. And y'all, they gave me an application to get on with the corporate, get on with the company straight up instead of working through the temp service. And so I told them on the application everything about, my past, that one felony I had, all that stuff. I told them everything. And they came back and told me, well, now that the hiring freeze is over, we got to tell you that, we can't hire you. We can't hire you. I was like, well, why not? I mean, they said we can't hire new people with felonies. And I was just like, then it hit me. I was like, hey, man, but I ain't new, though. You know what I'm saying? I'm really not. I ain't new because I've been back there training people how to do my job on the line. Like all the new people coming in, I've been training them on what I do. So I'm not new in that regard. I've been here over a year. And the hiring supervisor said, well, yeah, you're not new to us, but you're new to the corporate office. And they changed the criteria saying that we can no longer hire new people with felonies. And this is what was so gangster about it. I had a cousin that worked there. He was on permanent already, though. But he been to the feds. So I'm like, hey, man, wait a minute. So, what you can't hire me? Are you kidding me? And so, what was so bugged out about it? And this really let all the air out of my tires, right? I'm sitting there trying to make sense of it all. I had to go home and tell the wife that I had then that I lost another job. So y'all already know how that played out. But it was crazy. They couldn't hire me. I said, okay. I was thinking, well, damn. Well, that's all right. I mean, in my mind, I'm saying, that's cool. I just keep working for the temp service. That's what I'm thinking. Then the hiring manager said, well, now we got to figure out what we're going to do with your next check. And I was like, what you mean what you going to do with my next check? You going to give it to me when I come in Thursday like y'all always do? What you mean what you going to do with my next check, right? I said, wait a minute. Not only are you saying that you can't hire me on permanent, but so I can get benefits and all that stuff, because I got a child with this woman and everything. And so I'm like, not only are you saying that, but you are telling me that, or are you telling me I have nowhere to go when I wake up in the morning? Like after this talk we having, you telling me that I'm fired? Man, dude looked at me and said, yeah, I'm sorry, man. Yeah, but we can't let you work here anymore. Man, that flattened me out. So that was a job that I lost. And I told them the same thing I told the other people at the temp service. But that's when Obama was in office and that WIA program and the TAA program. WIA was Workforce Initiative Act, and the TAA program was the Trade Adjustment Act program. Well, I qualified for WIA, so that's how I ended up studying for heating and cooling. Those were the goals that I had set for myself. Those were the goals that worked out for me. But man, I'm telling you, and I stuck to them. And I progressed. You gotta have goals, man. You can't depend on the government to take care of you. If I could have, I'd still be on government assistance now. Or I'd still be, on something if I could have gotten on it. Because I had paid taxes on all my jobs up to that point. But it's crazy. Up to that point in life, every job I had, I paid taxes on it. But I barely got that. And what made me qualify was I got fired from a job, and it wasn't because of anything that I personally did, like on the job, or, you know, it wasn't because of, it was at no fault of my own. That's how I ended up, oh boy, transitioning and learning the HVAC trade. But I later got into electrical work and all that stuff too. But those were goals that I had set for myself. And I built myself up to be poverty proof. I can never lose another job. I own my own outfit. I mean, it's a little small outfit, but I own it. So I can't be fired. Those were the goals I set for myself. To own a small business. And oh man. And it's a blessing. It's a blessing. But that came from setting my goals. Nothing was more important than me reaching my goals at that time. And nothing should be more important to you than reaching your goals. Setting goals and reaching them. Filtering out all the noise and listen to the signals. Because that was hearing about the WIA program and the TAA program, hearing about that. Obama was speaking about it on the news. And hearing him say that was a signal. And that's what guided me. And I just built my goals around it. I paid attention to the signals. In life, we all get signals. But a lot of us can't tell the difference between signals and noise. You will always be dependent if you just paying attention to the noise. If you just living life for fun. If you just living to be a social life. Nothing should be more important than your goals. Set goals and stick to them. You won't be dependent on. So, I mean, you stick to your goals and you reach them. You won't depend on the government to bail you out of everyday life circumstances. Yes, everybody goes through ups and downs. And if you can find programs or offerings from the government, if you can take advantage of them, I guess, yeah, go for it, man. I did. I mean, I was at my last straw. I'll never be in that position again. But I was, man, it drove me nuts. It was driving me nuts. Living like that. Like, living on those low-wage jobs, trying to live. Trying to keep the woman I had at the time happy. Trying to plan stuff. I mean, it was horrible, man. Life was a trip. Life was pretty bad for me, man. But I set goals and I reached them. Nothing should be more important than your goals. If you set goals, let nothing stop you from reaching them. You have to set goals in order to make a better life for yourself. You have to be gear-driven, goal-driven. You have to have direction or directives. You have to. And that's what's so wild, man. A lot of people man, this guy this dude jumping in the lane with me. A lot of people can't filter out the noise. You need to, if you're an adult, you need to learn how to filter out the noise. Or if you have an adult's mind, you need to filter out the noise. Ignore Ignore the noise. Stick to your goals. Set goals and stick to them. Listen to the signals. The signals will tell you the kind of people you need to get away from, the kind of people you need to be around. Signals will tell you that. If you pay attention to the signals and filter out the noise, you won't find yourself depending on who gets elected in office to determine whether or not your life gets better. I know people that, well, a majority of the people I know, the ones that are doing well in life, man, they never depend on the government for nothing, ever. And they pay more taxes than they feel like they should. But I guess once you hit 6 figures, though, you're forced to pay more taxes than you think you need to. All 6-figure people that I know feel the same way. And it's crazy because, again, I said this before. I used to dream about 6 figures. I thought it was something big. Well, I make that now. And hey, I'm definitely more comfortable than I've ever been. But that's really not, 6 figures really is not the end all be all. There are other business endeavors that I find myself getting into now. And as long as you rock with the channel, man, as long as y'all hanging out, you'll see, because I'm going to talk about it. I'm definitely going to talk about it. But for a lot of people that are down in the dumps, that think the world is going to end, that's singing all the doom and gloom because Trump got back in office, man, y'all need to wake up, man, or grow up, man. Just like I got help when Obama was in office. A lot of people going to get help when Trump is in office. Help by the way of tax breaks. Help by the way of having comfort in knowing that they're going to be on equal competitive footage with everybody on their level. They're going to know that there's no competitive advantages. They got the same chance as the next man under the Trump administration for their businesses to go. With growing a business, or with growing businesses, you have to have a business mind and you have to know how to talk to people, because businesses are built on relationships. Well, the truth is, a lot of people out there, man, I guess that depend on the government for stuff. They don't know how to talk to people. They don't even know how to talk to each other. They always clashing about something. There's no negotiation. There's no respect. So those type of people will always be government dependent. Or as Anton Daniels said, he the first one I heard coin this term, the victim Olympics. Those type of people that are always government dependent will always be in the victim Olympics. The people with no goals, or the people that just talk to make themselves sound good, but don't do any action to get themselves to where they need to be, they're going to always be in the victim Olympics. Always. You have to set goals and stick to your goals. You got to stick to your goals. You have to listen to the signals. Filter out the noise. It don't matter. You got to filter out. You stay out of your friends' business. Stay out of folks' relationship business. Stay out of folks. Nothing should be more important to you Nothing should be more important to you than setting your own goals and reaching your goals in life. Nothing should be, definitely not who won the election or who got put in office this year, or that should not be more important to you than your own goals. It's crazy, man. People really got me bugging out here, man. Just listening to people talk, listening to people crash out, as Anton says, or as he said in today's little video that I saw. But it's not just Anton Daniels. I watch everybody's stuff. I mean, I got a long drive to and from work, so I just crank up videos and listen while I'm driving. I listen to Democrats, I listen to Republicans, I listen to everybody. Be driven by the goals that you set. Filter out the noise. For real. And from that video, that little 5-minute video I did this morning, I'm dead serious. You cannot let the government, don't depend on the government to take care of your life. The government cannot tell people how to run their businesses. The government can't tell businesses how to operate. If there's some kind of unfair advantage that a business has, yeah, you can complain and gripe to the government for fundamental fairness if you feel like you have been treated unfair. But other than that, the government can't tell businesses what to charge for their services or products. The government can't tell you nothing. And people complain, nothing in that regard. People complaining about food prices. People complaining about gas prices. The government had nothing to do with these companies raising their prices. Companies raise their prices because they want to. And unless the government can prove that there's an agenda, the government can't step in and mediate them and make them lower their prices. Businesses adjust their prices according to the markets, really. That's how that works. Anyway, man, not gonna keep y'all. But the video I did earlier, don't depend on the government and stop being afraid of reality, is real, man. It's true. Because a lot of people out here are afraid of reality. People have been living in a bubble over the last few years. And I see it. I saw it clearly. People living in a bubble. That bubble recently busted. It burst back on November 5th. And a lot of people are afraid of reality. The reality is, man, set your own goals and stick to them. Reach your goals. Don't be a part of the Victim Olympics. You have to really train your brain to see half a glass being half full instead of always being half empty. A lot of people need some real brain training, man. A lot of people need a big dose of reality to bring them back down to size, to bring them back down to earth. A lot of people need a big dose of reality. And a lot of people are about to get it. Straight up. The only thing that will save you is yourself. The only thing that will save you is you coming up with a game plan, you setting goals, and you reaching the goals that you set. That's the only thing that'll save you. Positive, progressive goals, I mean. Because if you got goals in your mind, childish goals of doing illegal stuff, well, every action has a reaction, and there are consequences to every action. So if you got goals of doing illegal stuff, trying to make an easy life for yourself, you're going to probably find yourself a victim of your own actions. You're going to find yourself a victim of consequences that you created. And nobody will save you from that. Set positive, progressive goals. I'll say that. Set positive, progressive goals for yourself and reach them. That's the only thing that's going to save you, man. That's the only thing that's going to save you, man. Cousin Leon, man. I'm up.